Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, the 9th day of September. Here we go. Sorry, the NCSY backdrop not there behind me today. It's actually working elsewhere at another NCSY location. But of course, our Torah goes on every single day. Now we're on Sukkah's laws because Sukkah is rapidly approaching, and let's do some of the basics. Why does God tell us that we should sit in sukkahs at the time of sukkahs? So one simple explanation, according to Rebbe Eliezer, the Tana in the Mishnah, is that when the Jews were in the desert, they sat in clouds of glory. Anane Hakavo they were called, and since the Jews were surrounded by clouds of glory, we mark that by having things around us. They're not clouds of glory, but they're the closest we could come to reminding ourselves of the clouds of glory with which God surrounded us during our stay in the desert. And so we surround ourselves with a sukkah at this time of year. Rabbi Akiva, the Tana, says that no, the Jews actually dwelled in booths when they were in the desert, and we dwell in booths to be in memory of that. Why would God want us specifically to do that at this time of the year, at the holiday that's a couple days after Yom Kippur? So one simple explanation that the Gemara gives is because it's a time when it doesn't really naturally fit to want to sit out there in a booth. It's not the most comfortable time of the year to be sitting outdoors in a booth. And when we do that, we show, hey, this is not a comfort thing. I'm not doing this because it's a nice day to sit out in a booth. I'm doing it because God told me to do it, and it shows more that it's for God's reason when I'm actually doing it at a time when it's not perfectly opportune. Why would God still want it at this time? So there are added reasons, because here's the one that I love the most, and that is because it was the Chag HaAsif. It was the time that they used to gather in their dried fruits they had been out in the fields all summer drying, and so it was a time of great plenty. At a time of great plenty, when you see your riches, your affluence and everything, God says, hey, you know what? During your affluence, I would like you to leave your affluence and go out and live in a booth under the stars, and you'll realize that affluence, schmaffluence, which applies great to us people in our Western way of life. We live quite comfortably, and we feel like I'm protected from rain, I'm protected from wind, I have air conditioning, I'm protected from heat. And God says, yeah, could you step out of your protection for a moment and remember basics, that you're nothing without God, that you're under God's sky, and you get more in touch with things being that way when you're not living in the kind of false safety that your home affords you, and you live out under the stars and you get the feeling of what life is really like, that you really, really depend on God. That's how it's supposed to be. And at this time of affluence, the time that they used to gather in their riches from the field, that's a great time to do that. I know you and I are maybe not agricultural, so doing it at Sukkot's time is not exactly the time for you, but that's how God instituted it, because it was the Chag when everybody was gathering agriculturally their riches. So God said, step out into a booth and remember that you come under the protection of God. So during this time, it is, wherever possible, it's best to do everything in the sukkah, which means eat there, study there, relax there, read there, sleep, daven there if you're not going to shul, and all those kinds of things. It's best to try to get everything done in the sukkah if you can. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.